Hello and welcome back to my channel, and as promised, here I am with my big catch-up video. So as I said in my last video, I wanted to do a little video to catch you up on what I've been up to, because I did have that accidental hiatus from YouTube. It wasn't intentional, it just kind of happened, but I thought that I would do a little video just to talk you through what I've been up to the last few months and how things are with my life, with the house, with Gus, with dating. Everybody always wants to know what's happening with DEBS and dating. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Got a little cup of coffee. I'm going to chat you through what I've been up to and how things are, and hopefully you'll enjoy a little catch up with me. So in the UK, we are currently, lockdown is starting to be relaxed. We are allowed to go to restaurants that are back open. You can go get your hair cut. Some stuff is still not open. A lot of the beauty salons and things, there's certain things that you can't have done. Lockdown, full lockdown, seems so long ago now. But it was tough, I'm not going to lie. I live on my own, it's just me and Gus. And there was a period where I was pretty much just completely on my own all the time, apart from my dog walks with Gus. I'm really, really grateful that I've got Gus. He got me out of the house. He was a reason to go out and exercise. And I also am so, so grateful that I have a garden as well. Because we did have some really nice weather at the beginning of lockdown, and it was really nice just to be able to sit outside in the garden. I feel so bad for anybody who's not had a garden during lockdown. It must be so, so hard. But yeah, there was points where I really did struggle. I couldn't see my friends. We did try and have a regular Zoom or house party quizzes and things like that, and I did try and do the same with my family, but obviously it's not the same as being able to actually see people. So there was a tough few weeks in there. I think the point for me at which it really became a lot easier was when the government announced that you could bubble. So single people could bubble with another household. And my best friend and her husband and their 2 kids, I bubbled with them, and they live really not far away from me at all, and it was so nice to be able to actually go into their house, and for my best friend to be able to come here, and for me to be able to hug someone. And yeah, that was kind of the turning point for me in lockdown. I think I've sort of gone between finding it relatively easy because I already worked from home and I already spend a lot of time here on my own, to really, really struggling with it, and it literally changed on a daily basis. But at the moment, things are pretty good actually. It's still obviously quite terrifying in a lot of ways. I'm still not quite ready to go to London. I haven't gone to London yet or gone on a train, but I'm quite happy to go out and about, fully masked up obviously, but I've gone out and about to the shops, I've gone out and had dinner, I've had drinks and things. So yeah, at the moment, and it's beautiful weather here at the moment as well, and that definitely helps. I think, yeah, things are okay where lockdown is concerned. So I'm going to talk next about the topic that everybody always wants to know, DEBS and dating. Oh, DEBS and dating. So at the beginning of the year, in January, February, I went on a few dates with somebody who I really, really liked. And unfortunately it didn't carry on. I felt a different way for him than he felt for me, and so he ended things before they could go any further. And I was really devastated because he was probably the first person who I'd really properly let in. I mean, I'm quite protective of my house anyway. He was the first person who I'd had into this new house where I live. So I decided to take a bit of a break from dating and kind of just, spend some time on my own, just enjoy my own life and what I had going on, and also just to maybe, slightly recover a little bit from having my heart broken and being a little bit disappointed that something didn't work out. So that was in February. And then of course in March, lockdown hit. And I was already on this dating hiatus, and I think in my head I'd thought once I had my birthday in March that I would then start dating again, maybe in April or something, which then the universe threw a global pandemic into my way. And when we were in full lockdown, I did re-download the dating apps. And they were a funny old place during lockdown. I think a lot of people downloaded them because they were bored. And I think that somebody like me is on there to find something genuine, and there was a lot of people on there who were not on there to find anything genuine. They were just on there to pass a bit of time, to just have somebody to talk to, somebody to flirt with or whatever. And so it wasn't really the place to find something of any kind of meaning, I think, during full lockdown. I think Corona had a huge impact on people generally. It certainly has had an impact on me. I think it's made people re-look at their life and what they want, and also I think it gave people time to think about what was important. And funnily enough, during full lockdown, I had a couple of people reappear back in my life who, I guess, Corona had made them maybe rethink that they missed me or whatever. One of those was somebody who I wrote about on my blog. He is somebody who I went on my very first ever app date with. And he was somebody who, over the year since my first ever app date, kind of would come back in and out of my life. He lives quite far away, and it was never really in his mind possible for us to be together. There was a period during early lockdown where we were back in contact, and it did look like maybe we were going to be getting together and possibly giving me and him being together a go. I'm going to cut to just the end of the story. It did not work out on his side, and that's the end of that. There won't ever be anything between us again. So, but it was funny because I think during lockdown I kind of felt like maybe Corona had had this effect to bring somebody back in my life, and maybe that person was meant to be back in my life. Obviously, it turns out not. But I definitely think it's made me think about what it is that I want in a partner. But also I have struggled about the fact that it has kind of prevented me from meeting people, and it's kind of taken that ability away from me. And I talked to somebody else about this actually, about Corona slightly robbing you of a period of your life, and obviously it's done that to all of us. It definitely has done that to all of us. Well, I had some good conversations during lockdown, but nothing really transpired with anybody because you were unable to really go and meet anybody. Now that things have relaxed, I did have my first ever proper date since February with somebody who was really nice, but we've agreed to just be friends. There wasn't that spark there for me. And yeah, you know, I'm back sort of in the dating game, as it were. The apps are on my phone. I am actively using them, but not in a kind of like obsessive way. And because I do enjoy my life as it stands. I would like somebody to share my life with, but yeah. The guy who things ended with in February, me and him did then start to be friends towards the end of lockdown. I think it's something I'm going to write about on the blog because again, it's a longer conversation than for in this video. But unfortunately, yeah, that didn't work out either because I liked him still, and I think it's difficult to actually be friends with somebody when you really like them or really fancy them. So yeah, so at the moment, Debs is still single, still optimistically romantic. I don't know why. You would think that I would be really jaded and really, but I'm not. I believe, I do believe in fate. I believe that things have a way of working out, and I will meet the person that I'm meant to meet. And I love you guys on here and on Instagram because you're all just so desperate for Debs to meet somebody and for things to work out for me, and that's really sweet, and I do appreciate it. Yeah, I seem to be accruing lots of male friends, which I suppose you know, it's not a bad thing. They clearly like spending time with me, but not quite in the way that Debs wants, I'll be honest. as I said, I had this period where I couldn't see anybody like we all did, and I really was trying to see people via video. So I was having a weekly quiz with my 3 best friends. I was having a Friday night video night out with my friend Victoria. We every Friday would have a little drink and a little chat over video, mostly talking about men and dating and stuff. And I had so many long phone conversations with Emma. I think our longest one was like 5 hours. And because there was so much to sort of talk about. My family I haven't seen since December, so I don't live near my family anyway. They all still live up north and I live in Essex, so I'm kind of used to it being months between me seeing my parents or my sister, or so that doesn't necessarily feel that different, but it obviously now is a long time since I saw them. Again, I've tried to keep in contact with them. Me and my parents tried to have a video chat every so often, have a little gin and tonic, and they have a little look at Gus, and we have a catch up and things. Now that things are relaxed, I have obviously seen people a lot more, so I actually had my friend Victoria come and stay. She came and stayed for a few days, and we went to the beach with Gus, and she had to stay socially distanced within the house, but it was fairly easy because my house is fairly spaced out, and like when we were sat watching telly, I was on one side of the room and she was over here on the sofa, and it was really nice. And the funny thing is about Victoria is I met her at a blog event 7 years ago, and we've never seen each other since. All we've done is chat via message, and especially these last few months we message every day. I don't actually think I would have got through lockdown without her. I've had lots of people who've been a massive support, my best friends, Emma, my family, but Victoria has been literally like my lifeline throughout this whole thing. Voice notes, WhatsApps, video calls, because I know I said that not much has happened with my dating, but I've had periods where, I've been chatting to somebody and it hasn't worked out, and this and that, and there's been some tears, there's been some excitement, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. And the same for her, she's been trying to date during lockdown as well, and it's not easy, but we've had each other to sort of, get each other through it, as it were. But yeah, I now obviously have been able to see, as I said, my best friend. We've met up, me and my 3 best friends, outside for coffee, and I've seen Emma again. Emma has come over and we've spent the day together outside, walking Gus, and just this week she was here and she came and stayed, and we went and played miniature golf, and we went out and ate because it's her birthday soon. I've seen Katie and her dog. We've gone for walks on the beach. As I said, I developed this friendship with the guy that I dated in January, and even though it hasn't necessarily worked out, there was a period where it was massively helpful to me to have him to go out for dog walks with and to spend time with, and again, he's somebody who got me through lockdown, I think. Hannah. There was a period during lockdown that was probably my hardest, and my friend Hannah Gale made the decision to leave Instagram for many reasons, and decided to quit being an influencer. And that was really hard. It was all around the time of Black Lives Matter, which was a tricky time on the internet generally. There was, it was difficult. There was difficult conversations happening online, and ones that I wanted to be a part of, but ones that were uncomfortable conversations, and of course they should had those conversations. But there was a time there for a few weeks where it was difficult to know what was correct to post, what was correct to talk about, and in the middle of it, one of my best friends who I've worked with and known for years decided to quit doing this job, and to lose that person and that ally who I could talk to about things was really upsetting. And sorry, I just had a delivery. Yeah, so I drove to Sussex and went and saw Hannah, which was really nice to be able to see her and sort of offer that, make that effort to go and see her. It's a couple of hours drive over there. It was so nice, got to see her and her little boy Atty as well. I'm hoping that I'm seeing my parents next week. So as I said, I haven't seen them since December. they're hoping to come. But where they live up north, they have put in place the lockdown restrictions because of an increase in cases of COVID. So there is a possible chance that if they restrict travel, that they might not be able to come down, but we're seeing. Work-wise, so at the beginning of lockdown, work was tricky. I think when Corona hit, there was a lot of work that got pulled. So in terms of Instagram collaborations or paid collaborations with brands, I think a lot of them got cancelled because brands weren't sure what was going to happen, what was correct to be putting on social media. And I think a lot of us influencers felt like that as well, that we weren't sure what people would want to see. What kind of content would they want to be digesting whilst going through this crazy thing? But also, you're having to deal with it as a person as well, and you know, trying to deal with what's happening, and maybe you don't feel like putting yourself on the internet. So there was a tricky few weeks, I think. I did lose quite a lot of work. I had projects lined up with a couple of brands and those jobs got pulled. And just generally, you know, the emails or the projects that you got offered just kind of disappeared. So there was obviously a work worry and a money worry. I carried on keeping myself busy, doing projects that I was still sharing on Instagram, and I was still creating content. But in terms of my earnings, they massively went down. Here in the UK, the government launched a grant scheme for those people that were self-employed that you could apply for, which would help you out if your earnings had been affected by COVID. Obviously, a lot of my photography work that I used to go into London to do, all of that got cancelled or just didn't happen. I wasn't shooting pictures of bloggers because bloggers were in their house self-isolating or in lockdown like we all were. So I applied for that grant, got a little bit of help money-wise, and also just I still had some of my Olympus work that continued to go. But yeah, it's been a tricky old time work-wise, and now that things are relaxing, I feel like things are slightly getting back to normal. I've been to a couple of blog events, virtual blog events, instead of them happening in London, which is really good that those are starting to happen again. So my house, I've been doing quite a lot in the house. It's one of the things that's kept me really busy during lockdown. So one of the last videos I made, not the cooking one, but the one before that, was my table DIY. And that table had been on my list to make. I'd had the wood since last year, and lockdown was a good excuse to do it. It was made more difficult by lockdown, like the piece of wood for the tabletop and the trim, and it was all harder to get hold of because I couldn't get out and about to get things, and you know, not everything was open and delivery times were longer, and so it was a harder process than maybe it would have been if I'd made it before lockdown. But it certainly kept me busy. It's certainly sanding away at that certainly kept me busy. And yeah, I'm really proud that I made it and that I finished it, and it looks beautiful. And I've been doing some other bits and bobs. So my favourite thing is Facebook Marketplace, which I was kind of addicted to just before lockdown. And now that things have started to ease, I'm back buying on Facebook Marketplace, because you can turn up and buy it socially distanced. You don't need to see anybody. So I've been buying a few bits and bobs, bought a new TV unit, which I'm going to be doing a makeover on. I'm going to make a little video on it here on my YouTube. So I'm in the middle of a big garden makeover. So after this video, my next video is going to be my garden makeover. It's pretty much finished now. I think it looks really nice. I'm really pleased with it. It's nice to sit out there. Emma came and said she thought it was really nice and that I'd done a nice job. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that video. Oh, I did a bit of a bedroom makeover. That was over on my IGTV. I gave my bedroom a bit of a summer makeover, a summer glow up. But yeah, I've got other projects in the pipeline. I think I'd like to do something to my bathroom. That got postponed because I was supposed to do the project with a certain brand, and around Black Lives Matter. As influencers now, we're trying to deal with brands who are inclusive and who work with a wide range of influencers, and I wasn't 100% sure that the brand that I was going to work with was particularly inclusive, so I put the project on pause to see how they dealt with Black Lives Matter, you know, over a period of weeks. I'm hoping that that project's going to go ahead. Obviously this is a rented place. I've just signed on for another year, so I moved in on September the 7th. So soon it will be a year since I've been here, which is just crazy to think that my honest moving vlog was a year ago. But yeah, I love it here. Oh, okay, let's talk about what I've been watching during lockdown. I have gone through so many TV programs. Now, one of the biggest things that I've done is that I have a tendency to rewatch stuff. And sometimes it's so nice to go back and rewatch something from the beginning, especially like years after. So I rewatched the whole of Big Bang Theory from the beginning, which was just brilliant. I rewatched the whole of Friends. I've rewatched them from the beginning as well. And actually I've started and gone back round again because you can never have enough Friends. The other thing that I rewatched was Line of Duty, which is a BBC drama programme, UK programme. So good. And I watched all the series back to back, and I had no idea how much they all interlinked, because I think when you watch them in the UK they were so spaced out over the years, so it was really good to watch them all back to back. Loved them. And then new things that I've watched, so I've just recently started watching Warrior Nun on Netflix, which is really good. I really rate it. It's very like Buffy-esque. It's quite funny, like as in it's, you know, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. The music's really good, so I enjoyed that. I also have been watching Friday Night Dinner, which is a new discovery for me. Victoria got me onto it, and it's just, I love it. It's so funny. I'm still working my way through Sons of Anarchy and Ozark. I started series 3 of The Sinner. I've not finished that yet. And oh god, yeah, I mean, I've watched so much, I think, as we all have. I've watched a few films. When Victoria came to stay, I made her watch The Visit, which is an M. Night Shyamalan film, and she was really scared, and I don't think she will ever forgive me for making her watch a scary film. But it was so nice to sit and watch telly with somebody and have that person there to react to what you're watching, because I've literally watched telly on my own now for months. Then I also been listening to a lot of podcasts while I've been out in the garden. Still listening to Shag, Married, Annoyed, which is just, my family are all Geordie. I love the Geordie accent. I love hearing Chris and Rosie's relationship, and it's just the funniest podcast. It always cheers me up. I also have been listening to They Walk Among Us, which is my favourite murder podcast, and yeah, that's sort of what I've been occupying myself with. So Gus, yeah, Gus is, hello, yeah, Gus has been such a blessing to have during lockdown. He is obviously, as I said, the reason why I've got out of the house and whatnot, but I also chat away to him on a daily basis. Oh, come on then. Oh, yeah. Busy day for parcels, isn't it, eh? Yeah, he's good. He had, at the beginning of lockdown, I did have a slightly scary few days where he was very poorly, and it was pancreatitis. I can't remember if I've talked about this in another video or whatnot, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. But he was very poorly, so lethargic, so clearly in a lot of pain, and he had to be admitted to the vets a couple of times to be put on a drip and given loads of fluid. And that was really upsetting, and it was really difficult because obviously I wasn't allowed in the vets with him. He had to go in on his own, and the consultations were all done over the phone, so I didn't even get to see my vet face to face. But they were amazing. Oh, what are you doing? They were amazing, and he now will have, what even is that position? He will have pancreatitis for life now. It is something that possibly may flare up again in the future, so he has to be on a very low fat diet now to sort of protect his pancreas. But apart from that, yeah, he's really good. I mean, I think in some ways he's been having a whale of a time because obviously he's got me here every day, all day. And also we've had quite a few doggy dates with other people, and, you know, gone for dog walks, because obviously a lot of the time, yeah, the only way you could meet was to meet people outside. So yeah, he's really good, and he is just, yes, he's been my absolute companion during lockdown, and much like what I said about Victoria, I don't think I could have done lockdown without her. I definitely couldn't have done it without Gus. Yeah. Yeah. So future plans, I guess that's something that I should talk about. Obviously we don't know how long this pandemic will carry on, and things are relaxing and whatnot, but you just never know. I'm hoping in September to go to Pembrokeshire with my parents. It was booked for May this year and it got moved, and that would be amazing if that happens. It's a beautiful place. Last time we went, we took Eddie and Gus, both dogs, and this time we'll take just Gus, and just have a week of walks and fresh air and time with my mum and dad. So I'm really hoping that that will be possible. It all depends on Wales and the border and if we can get into Wales and whatnot. So we'll have to see about that. In terms of bigger plans, I don't necessarily plan to travel anywhere this year. I don't think. I definitely would do somewhere in the UK, be happy to sort of drive places in the UK, but I don't know if I would. I had no plans anyway to go abroad this year. So at the moment I'm not too worried if that doesn't happen. Work-wise, I want to just keep going with YouTube, and obviously I will keep making videos for you guys, but I'm really enjoying Instagram as well and IGTV. I really want to get back to writing on my blog. I get messages on Instagram from people who've read some of my posts about dating, about breakups and things like that, and I always plan to build my Starting Again series section a lot more, for there to be a lot more in there, advice and posts to personal posts with stuff to think about and that kind of thing, and that's something that I really want to do. And although I feel like I achieved lots in lockdown, I mean I built a table, I've done all sorts of things, that's the one thing I wish I'd achieved a bit more that I didn't manage to write. I'm also recently met up with a friend of mine, another blogger friend, Hayley. So she has a YouTube channel which I'll link in the description box, and she, like me, is massively into upcycling and DIY and finding boot sale bargains and things. Me and her are hoping to do some collaborations together, make some cool videos, upcycling on a budget, how to shop at boot sales, how to shop at charity shops, those kind of things. So I'm hoping to do that. And the other thing that I'm going to be doing is I've got a piece of furniture from my friend Vicky, and I'm actually going to make it over for her, and I'm going to film it as a video so you guys will see the before and after, and also Vicky's reaction when I give it her back. And I want to do more of that. So I'm actually going to look into upcycling furniture and selling it as a little sort of side hustle, because I really enjoy it, and I I'm always sharing on Instagram things that I've spotted on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and I'm like, oh, you could do this to it and you could do this to it, and I think, well, maybe I should just buy them and do it, and then sell them on to people who don't have the time to do those things, or maybe just don't have the imagination to do those things. So that's something that I would like to look into doing, and ideally I would film everything that I made over so you guys could see it all as content as well. And so yeah, lots of plans. But when I saw Emma this week, she said to me, I have too many plans, and it's possibly a bit overwhelming. So one of the things I need to do is sort of write out everything that I'd like to achieve and work out what to tackle now, what to put on hold, and what is achievable. But yeah, but on the whole, I'm pretty happy. I'm in a pretty good place. I've had some real rough patches during lockdown. I've not shared them all. You know me, I'm quite honest. I do share my downs on here or on Instagram. Haven't shared them all, but I've had some really tricky times. I've had days where I've had to text Emma and say, are you free to talk, and just that conversation can help pull me out of quite a low spell. And I think that's just the way it is for all of us. It's very much an emotional roller coaster, what we're all going through. And so I'm trying to cut myself some slack on that. But yeah, at the moment, I'm in a pretty good place. I'm pretty happy, and yeah. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed that little catch up with me and it wasn't too waffly. I do have a tendency to waffle. Give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will see you again next time. Bye.